If there's one thing that I noticed that's come with the Superstar shakeup, it's the fact that wrestling fans are completely and utterly oblivious. They are gullible. They do not look at the negative. WWE wanted to shake things up this week, and listen, I'll give credit where credit is due. WWE gave you a Superstar shakeup that was much better than what they did in previous years. I still don't like the formula. I don't like the way that it's structured, but they gave us a shakeup that, for the most part, did its job. It got people talking. It got people excited. So I'm assuming that it was a success. Can't say anything more than that. Though I do wish for a better sports-like presentation, like a draft, where you have the general managers or the people in charge sit down together and construct trades and talk deals and do this and do that. Like we used to see. Instead of having people randomly show up on a different show for no reason. I at least want to know the backstory or the foundation for why a trade was made. You know? Mahal coming to Monday Night Raw. Why was he on Monday Night Raw? For whom was he traded for? That's the kind of stuff I want to know. I take great interest in that type of stuff. But underneath all that, never mind how I feel about the shakeup. SmackDown Live obviously stole the show. To me, they are the A show, on paper. Monday Night Raw does not look too shabby either. You still got your Reigns and your Rollins, and Ambrose is still there. He's on the DL. Jason Jordan's on the DL. Two names that people are forgetting. Jason Jordan is great in the ring in his own right. Dean Ambrose, obviously, fan favorite. Can't forget those guys. Lesnar is still there. Bobby Lashley's there. Elias is still there. Strowman is still there. On top of that, they added Mahal, who I don't think is going to make any difference whatsoever because the guy was a fucking failure on SmackDown Live. Dolph Ziggler. They added Drew McIntyre. They added Bobby Lashley. They added Bobby Roode. They added Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Monday Night Raw in its own right looks pretty damn good. Now you look at SmackDown Live. I mean, like I mentioned on my SmackDown Live review, it's like they handed me a controller and I'm picking and choosing who I want on my roster for WWE 2K18 Universe mode. It's like an Indie Mark's wet dream over there. Almas, Nakamura, Styles, Bryan, Joe. I mean, how could you fuck that up? Jeff Hardy. The Miz. How could you fuck that up? I want people to understand, and I hope that I've at least instilled some common sense in you people. Even if you hate me. Even if you want to see my demise. I hope that you could at least respect where I'm coming from. And at the end of the day, say to yourself, even though you watch every single week and you hate me just the same every single week, I at least want you to say, I fucking hate this guy's guts. He's a fucking narcissistic prick. But he's right. You can't argue the man. I fucking hate him. But he does make a point. SmackDown Live. Yes, looks great on paper. But what people don't realize is that these are the same people that gave you a reign of terror for the majority of 2017. If these are the same people that booked Jinder Mahal to be your WWE champion for 7 months, if these are the same people that gave you Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal 4 pay-per-views in a row, and then went right back to it in 2018, literally an exact year later, only for a different title. If these are the same people that gave you the return of the great Khali, even only for one night, do you expect them to do anything on SmackDown Live with the new roster that they've been gifted? Do you expect Joe and Almas and Bryan to be booked the way that we want to see them booked? No. You see, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And it all goes back to creative. If creative ruined SmackDown Live just merely a year prior, do you honestly think with new names and new faces that they're going to change the way they did things in 2017? They had just as good a roster in 2017 than they do now. And they fucked up. They fucked up. I will not have any faith in these people until I see change. Legitimate change. There's nothing to be excited about. What you and everybody else is failing to understand is that there is no excitement that anybody should be having by mere names on a paper. When these names are put in storylines that make you care and make you want to watch week to week, then change will come. Then I will sit here and say, SmackDown is the A show. Until that day, no. This company has given you, especially SmackDown Live, this company has given you no faith to trust them with anything. I wouldn't trust Road Dogg to do my fucking dry cleaning. Give me a fucking break. I wouldn't trust him to pour me a glass of orange juice in the morning. You're going to trust this guy with an Andrade Cien Almas? You're going to trust this guy with a Samoa Joe? Come on, man. Get with the program. Get off your fucking cloud 9. The butterflies in your stomach are nothing but fucking nervous energy because you know exactly what I'm thinking. SmackDown Live will be ruined by D-O-double-G. D-O-double-G ain't no J-D. SmackDown Live is not any better than they are in 2017 by just what we see on paper. Change needs to be legitimate. Change needs to happen. And change starts with creative. The other issue here is people are like, well, look at SmackDown Live's roster. Look at how stacked they are. Can we go to 3 hours now with SmackDown Live? How about no? How about no? We don't want to see SmackDown Live at 3 hours. I barely want to see SmackDown Live most weeks at 2 hours. I barely want to see SmackDown Live, period, on Tuesday nights with some of the shows that we've seen. 2 hours is the proper time for a show. I mentioned on my SmackDown Live review that it is quality over quantity. Do we ever complain about NXT on any given week? No. Why is that? Because it's a perfectly booked show. Did we see Adam Cole this week? Did the absence of Adam Cole make NXT that much worse of a show? Did we see Aleister Black wrestle? Did we see Tommaso Ciampa come out? Did we see the Velveteen Dream and all his fabulous glory? No. Did it make the show worse? No. You need to book these shows, especially SmackDown at 2 hours, like you would book in NXT. You don't need to see an Andrade Cien Almas every single week. You don't need to see a Samoa Joe every single week. You don't need to see a Daniel Bryan every single week. There is so much talent on this show that you could get by and give us a show with revolving names and things will be okay. Not once did I ever say, man, I want to see the Velveteen Dream every single week on NXT. I'm glad we don't. The more we see him, the more we will not want to see him. He will get boring. He will get stale, and people will lose interest in the character. When people don't see someone for weeks on end, or a week here and a week there, the interest in them remains. They feel fresh. Look at what they did to Bobby Roode on Smackdown Live. I mean, he's a perfect example. We've seen Bobby Roode every single fucking week. At this point, I'm tired of Bobby Roode, period. They ruined his theme song for me. He was not on NXT every single week. There'd be 2-3 weeks where we didn't see Bobby Roode. Now, granted, he was the champion, but when he came out and you heard that theme, you were like, yeah, glorious. Now, when we hear glorious, I'm turning the other way and I'm fucking doing dishes or cleaning cat shit from the fucking litter box. I don't care. Gotta get on that page. Gotta get that consistency going. Don't need to feature these guys every single week. A revolving door of talent. One week we see Joe, the next week we see Almas. One week we see Joe, the next week we see Almas. One week we see Almas, the next week we see Nakamura. You know, one week we see Styles, one week we don't see Bryan. Vice versa. That's the way it needs to be. You know? One week we see New Day versus whomever. Next week we see The Bar against whomever. Doesn't need to be, four teams in one match. We don't need to see fucking fatal 5-ways and fucking 6-pack challenges every fucking pay-per-view. No. This shakeup needs to be... It needs to be right. It needs to be consistent. These shows have so much talent that they don't need to be featured every single week for the reasons that I gave you. Why is SmackDown Live so stacked? What is the reason for SmackDown Live being stacked? The only thing that I could possibly think of is WWE has been in talks, and you've heard this all year, about them going to Fox Sports, Channel 5 here in New York City on syndicated television, and FS1, Fox Sports 1 with SmackDown Live. Maybe WWE is pushing for Fox to really say, you know what, we're going to do the WWE deal, we're not doing UFC. Maybe they're making SmackDown Live look so attractive that it really is legit competition to Monday Night Raw, whereas it wasn't. SmackDown Live was below. It felt and looked below Monday Night Raw. Now SmackDown Live looks at least on par, even with Monday Night Raw. Will it be ahead of Monday Night Raw? It's all part of the creative. It's all down to the creative storylines and keeping people interested. So they might be making SmackDown Live a little bit more attractive to FS1 and Fox, whereas right now they're only entertaining offers from Fox and possibly thinking about moving on from the USA Network. That's the only thing I could think of at this point. Monday Night Raw. Who did they get in the shakeup? SmackDown Live. Who did they get in the shakeup? Jinder Mahal. I mean, I just got done telling you this guy was a reign of terror on SmackDown Live. Do you expect me to be important or feel important about Jinder Mahal or feel any intrigue or interest towards Jinder Mahal on Monday nights? Because he switched brands? Because he moved to a Monday instead of a Tuesday? I mean, the guy is a failure in every sense of the word. The guy's not interesting whatsoever. Everybody's like, oh, he had a great TV match with Jeff Hardy. Wow. Color me fucking pink. He had a great match with someone who can actually work in the ring. What are you going to do when you put him in there with someone who can't work? The Riot Squad. What the fuck did they do on SmackDown Live that I cared to see them on Monday night? In fact, Mahal and the Riot Squad, these two picks make Monday Night Raw worse. Riot Squad was used to take over the women's division on SmackDown Live. Now they're on Monday Night Raw to get over by having them feud with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Yeah, that's right. Let's put Bayley and Sasha Banks on the back burner for the Riot Squad. And I'm a fan of Ruby Riott. I think she is criminally underrated by a lot of people. I think she's got potential. But, again, no identity with these women. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan are awful. They do nothing. I don't mind looking at Liv Morgan, but as a trio, please. They are reach for my remote. Get off my TV, worthy. Owens and Zayn. These two guys are guys that could move the needle. These are two guys that I can't wait to see every single week, especially with the way Sami Zayn is playing his heel character. Great. They are fantastic together. Now, I mentioned that being that Monday Night Raw's tag team division right now looks like pure shit, I would keep them in the tag team division. I would keep them together. Owens and Zayn would be great. I think they'd be great challenges for the tag team championships. Meanwhile, you have singles guys right there that could do the singles thing and the tag team thing. Owens and Zayn by themselves. Owens and Zayn, tag team. They could be a dominating force together. Now, I think WWE might have jumped the gun on this storyline. They could have definitely had fun with it, but nothing WWE does is fun. They don't give a shit about fun. Sami Zayn could have showed up in NXT. Yo, Regal, what's going on, man? I'm the heart and soul of NXT. I'm back for my job. Get turned away. Show up in NXT as a new wrestler, El Generico, right? Or have Kevin Owens go into the Indies and wrestle as Kevin Steen. Something along those lines. They could have fun with it. I think WWE might have jumped the gun 2 or 3 weeks too early on this feud, or on this storyline rather, and they are on Monday Night Raw now because of Stephanie McMahon. But they are two guys that I definitely am interested in seeing every single week because their body of work so far and the way that they present themselves is interesting and it's fun. Zack Ryder goes from folding napkins in Titus Catering on SmackDown Live to washing dishes in SmackDown on Monday Night Raw and Titus Catering. So it goes from folding napkins to washing dishes. Great enhancement talent there, Zack Ryder. Your talents are greatly appreciated by Titus Catering. Breezango. More Titus Catering VIPs. Great tag team. Fandango can wrestle his ass off. Tyler Breeze may be the best wrestler in the entire fucking company if you give him the chance. Put them together, they're an entertaining duo. But what did they do outside of a mini feud with the Usos on SmackDown Live, in which I was calling for them to win the fucking tag team championships in a nice upset? It would have given them some great momentum. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. They're the stars of their own fucking series that was dead after 2 months. It did not become funny anymore, and it did not become entertaining after 2 months. It was trash. Overkill. WWE is holding these guys back. And these guys will be nothing but punching bags for the Authors of Pain. You think they're going to go anywhere? You think because they beat the Bar on Monday Night Raw in a fluke that they're going to be positioned as contenders for the tag team championships? Give me a break. You got to be absolutely out of your fucking mind if you think Breezango is going to be in contention for the Raw tag team titles. They did nothing on SmackDown. They will do nothing on Monday Night Raw. Natalya. I like Natalya. I can appreciate Natalya's work in the ring. Natalya was only moved to Monday Night Raw from SmackDown Live because they're going to have her work with Ronda Rousey, as you guys seen on Raw this week. Ronda and Natalya trained together. Natalya was there for Ronda's training. Now, the only thing I don't like, and you could say the same thing about Drew McIntyre in this instance as well, he's in the same boat. Natty was a heel on SmackDown Live. And all of a sudden she comes to Monday Night Raw and she's like, oh, the friendly cat lady now. She's like, oh, hi, Kurt. Hi, Rhonda. Right? When did that happen? Oh, because you changed allegiances? Because you went from blue to red? That means you go from heel to face? With no explanation? Now, I could definitely see them setting up Natalya to turn on Ronda Rousey. Because you don't want to have Natty as a babyface, go one-on-one with a babyface Ronda Rousey. That's not the way things are going. I could see Natty becoming the jealous old lady. This is my world. My family is in this business. This business and this industry runs through my blood. And you come on in here and you think you can get your 15 minutes of fame. And you stand there and win championships and the accolades of everybody because or the appreciation of everybody because of your name and your name alone. I could see them going that route. That would be great. You know, it gets Natalya some major heat because everybody loves Ronda, and Ronda gets someone that could make her look good in the ring because Natty is that good. Win-win for everybody. Win-win for everybody. At some point in your career, you got to know your place. Natalya's place right now is to put over Ronda Rousey. I'm guessing that's the reason they gave her a token title reign on SmackDown Live. Mojo Rawley. Moving on. Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder. We mentioned Zack Ryder. I don't know why I got Zack Ryder on the head. I don't want to mention him twice. I don't want to give him that much credit here because he'll be doing nothing on Monday Night Raw. I guess because he and Mojo, were a team, which they should. I mean, Raw's tag team division's terrible. You might as well just pair Mojo and Zack Ryder back together. I don't know why you broke those two guys up. Was there any reason to break up the Hype Bros? Mojo was awful on his own. Seriously. Mojo is awful on his own. He has no direction on his own. Zack Ryder has no direction, period. So why don't you put them back together? At least you get another quality tag team out of the two, and they work better together than they do on their own. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler came out this week and said that, listen, I didn't sign no new deal, $1.5 million. I don't know what these people are talking about, right? Says his contract is up sometime this summer. Drew McIntyre, like I said, same thing as Natalya. He's in the same boat as Natalya. Goes from NXT, being a babyface, and now to Monday Night Raw as a heel. And we don't have any explanation as to why. Well, because you switched allegiances from the yellow brand to the red brand, now all of a sudden you're a heel. A lot of people were talking about Ziggler and McIntyre being very reminiscent of Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Now, I could definitely see the similarities there, but this could be great for both. Dolph Ziggler needs a massive punch in the face. I mean, he needs a fucking wake-up call here. This wake-up call could be Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre could feed off Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler can certainly feed off Drew McIntyre. I think they'd be great together as a duo. You want to put them in the tag team division. Again, like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. You can have Ziggler and McIntyre do the tag team thing. You can also have them both do the singles thing as well. You look at Drew McIntyre and you look at world champion, man. Drew McIntyre as a heel going up against a quote-unquote number one guy in Roman as the Universal Champion, man. I mean, I don't like Roman, but I'm intrigued by that, very much so. I think that would be a fucking hell of a match. I want to see Drew McIntyre get to that level of world champion. I mean, this guy was the chosen one of the youngest intercontinental champions of all time. He went from that to being buried in 3MB, future endeavored, made himself a name in Impact Wrestling, comes back, and now he is a completely different man. And he's young. That's the great thing about McIntyre. He ain't even in his fucking prime yet. This is probably one of the best moves, if not the best move, by WWE on Monday Night Raw to get McIntyre on Monday Night Raw. They could definitely be the most entertaining act on Monday nights. And I have high hopes where when Ziggler came out, I'm like, eh. And then when I seen Drew McIntyre, I was like, yeah, I'll deal with it. But the more I think about it, I think the more it could benefit both men. Baron Corbin. I want to sit here and tell you that I have all the interest in the world in a Baron Corbin. I have high hopes for a Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin has shown me nothing. Baron Corbin has shown me nothing as far as his WWE run. He's won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, done nothing. Won the U.S. title, done nothing. Money in the Bank has done nothing. Failed cash-in, buried him. SummerSlam against Cena, buried him. Guy has done nothing on SmackDown Live. Now, do we expect things to change on Monday Night Raw? Well, if the rumors are true, Baron Corbin is a Vince McMahon favorite. If Vince gets his hands on him, Vince might mold him into something that we could see be a main event guy. Just like McIntyre. Corbin versus Reigns for a world title. If Corbin is at that level and ready, that could be an intriguing match. That could be something very, very interesting. Do I think he will be there this year? No. Do I think he's ready at all? No. Baron Corbin has a lot of work to do. And the one thing I mentioned about Baron Corbin, though he looks like a great draft pick or a great pickup for a brand, I went to the Ring of Honor show this past a couple of months ago. It was back in early March, I think. And it was at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and I seen Punishment Martinez for the first time live in person. I mean, the guy was getting Baron Corbin chants thrown at him all night. That's what I want Baron Corbin to be. I want Baron Corbin to move like Punishment Martinez. The guy was fucking quick. He was agile for a guy that size. Baron Corbin used to play football, didn't he? Then why is he moving like a Big Show or a Kane? Why is he having slow, methodical matches that remind me of fucking quicksand? Or someone sinking in quicksand? Why? Baron Corbin's potential is being held back. And if you're going to put him on Monday Night Raw, on the A show, in front of more eyes, you got to let this guy go. He's got all the potential in the world. He's got a great look, got a great entrance, got a great theme, carries himself well as a big man, got a great look. Work on your promos, let him go in the ring. We got the makings of a winner here. Do I see a winner right now? No. So I'm not really all that excited about Baron Corbin on Monday Night Raw. At least not yet. Mike Kanellis. This guy's going to be fucking, cleaning dishes along with Zack Ryder and Titus Catering. Either that or he's a new executive chef for Titus O'Neil. I don't fucking know. Guy's going to be nothing but an enhancement talent. We've seen him twice on Smackdown Live in 2017. Do you expect to see him any more than twice on Monday Night Raw? No. And it's a shame because he looks great. Probably the best shape of his fucking life if you've been following his Instagram. And he is the benefactor of WWE Creative. Or actually, not the benefactor. He's the loser of WWE Creative. Because he would have benefited more in NXT. His gimmick was NXT to the T. Why you would debut him on SmackDown Live when no one knew who Mike Kanellis was. No one was interested in what they were doing. Instead of getting him over in NXT, building a fan base for himself, building intrigue amongst the fans, and then putting him on SmackDown Live. No, they did it just ass backwards, and they killed this guy's momentum to the point where it's never going to be recovered. The Ascension, longest reigning tag team champions in NXT, have been buried for the last 3 years. They're going to remain buried 6 feet under. I don't expect them to be anything more, but again, just like Breezango, punching bags for the Authors of Pain. Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode has all the talent in the world, looks great. You look at Bobby Roode and you think, picture-perfect professional wrestler. This change from SmackDown to Raw needs to be with a heel turn. I'd love to see a heel Bobby Roode versus a babyface Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. A heel Bobby Roode versus a babyface Finn Balor. A heel Bobby Roode versus a face, quote-unquote, Roman Reigns. Babyface Bobby Roode is not working out. And I think we can all understand that and agree with that. I mean, it came to a point where, again, Bobby Roode was not featured every week. You featured him every week, and he is fucking boring. You feature that theme song and that entrance every week, it doesn't have the same appeal that it did when it was in NXT, and you've seen it once, maybe twice a month. They fucked Bobby Roode, big time. And they fucked him immediately out of the gate by taking him and making him a babyface. I hope this move to Monday Night Raw makes him a heel. Chad Gable. I don't know why you would split up Benjamin and Gable yet. I don't think they even got their feet wet as a team. So I don't know what you do with Chad Gable. Chad Gable maybe in the mid-card for the IC title? I certainly hope so. Guy's got all the talent in the fucking world to be a breakthrough player in WWE, just like Jason Jordan was. But if WWE wants to put Gable and Jordan back together, you could also do that as well. They got some options here on Monday Night Raw. It's not looking all that bleak on Monday Night Raw. They definitely have options. And keep in mind, Jordan on the DL, Ambrose on the DL, Lesnar still there. So Monday Night Raw could certainly be an entertaining show on Monday nights if booked correctly. SmackDown Live, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy moving to SmackDown Live away from Matt is a great move. Let Jeff shine on his own. Let Matt shine on his own. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I'm better off having two fucking, mannequins on my fucking women's division. Who gives a shit? They will do nothing for the SmackDown Live women's division. In fact, they make the women's division worse, just like Absolution does on Monday Night Raw. Or, the Riot Squad. Absolution, Riot Squad, who gives a fuck? None of them have identities. Absolution on Raw did nothing. You expect them to do something on SmackDown Live? Riot Squad did nothing on SmackDown Live. You expect them to do something on Monday Night Raw? Give me a break. Give me a break. They add no value to the women's division. Samoa Joe, that's someone who adds value. My God, the dream match that could be with Samoa Joe. Orton versus Joe. Nakamura versus Joe. We got Styles versus Joe. Bryan versus Joe. Almas versus Joe. Joe is a winner. And Joe is a beast. I just hope that Joe is booked the way he should be booked. His body of work deserves championship gold, no matter what age he is. Joe on SmackDown is a game changer, and I can't wait to see what they do with him. Sanity, Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane. This is something that should be treated like a major deal. I want to see these guys succeed. You gave the New Day the free bird rule, keep it with Sanity. Killian Dane on his own, you want to put him on his own? Fine. You want to put Killian Dane in there with Eric Young for a tag team match? Fine. You want to put Alexander Wolf and Eric Young there, tag team match? Fine. Wolf and Dane? Fine. Same thing needs to apply for Sanity as it does to the New Day. Killian Dane on his own is a monster. I can't wait to see him thrive as a singles guy, man. He's got the looks of a fucking beast. He's got major beast, major player written all over him. Now, the one thing people are talking about is the exclusion of Nikki Cross. I've heard multiple things. Nikki Cross is going to be with Sanity because it's still on her profiles on social media that she represents Sanity. But I also heard that WWE did not bring Nikki Cross up because of a possible gimmick and character change, which I don't agree with. Because when you look at Nikki Cross, you look at someone who is unique and really a standout amongst everybody else in the women's division. When you look at a Sasha Banks and a Bayley and a Charlotte and a Becky and a Naomi and a Natalya and everybody else on down the line for the women's division, Ember Moon, and then you look at Nikki Cross. Look at the fucking sheer difference between a Nikki Cross and everybody on that women's division. Why would you take that away from her? Why would you change her gimmick? Now, people are talking about, Nikki Cross could play a great Sister Abigail. You're 3 years too late, buddy. You're 3 years too late with that fantasy booking scenario. The only other one that I would think is a great Sister Abigail would be a Rosemary in Impact Wrestling. Nikki Cross would be at the top of the list too, but Bray Wyatt's dead. The gimmick means nothing to anybody anymore. Why would you want a Sister Abigail? If this was maybe 2016, even before that, then I would have said, yeah, that's a great idea because I think the Sister Abigail character needs to be brought to life. So I don't think that is going to be the direction that they go in anyway. But again, why would you take what makes Nikki Cross special and take that away from her to put her on her own away from Sanity? She makes Sanity that much more intimidating. Do you know the visual of what Nikki Cross adds to Sanity? With her just fucking going ballistic, balls to the wall, chewing on ropes and fucking pulling her hair out while Eric Young's on the microphone? Why? I hope that's not the case. And I hope they do bring her up to SmackDown Live. She alone makes that division leagues better than Monday Night Raw. Speaking of women's division, Asuka. We all kind of knew that. We all kind of knew Asuka was going to SmackDown Live. Asuka away from Ronda. That's what you need. You don't want that, even if WWE doesn't have that plan for WrestleMania, you still don't want that on the same show. You want Ronda to kind of stand out, because eventually in the year, you're going to have Ronda meet Asuka face-to-face, and nobody wants that yet. You got to get Ronda to a point where she is able to be in the ring with Asuka, okay? But the move of Asuka to SmackDown Live, we all kind of assumed that Charlotte was moving to Monday Night Raw. Now, that wasn't the case. Charlotte is staying on Monday Night Raw. Charlotte is staying on Monday Night Raw. And the reason why she's staying on Monday Night Raw is because WWE wants Ronda and Charlotte to be away from one another. We could potentially get Asuka getting her revenge on Charlotte, because I fully expect Charlotte to win the Women's Championship back. I think we're going to see Asuka take the Women's Championship from Charlotte eventually, towards the end of the year. Because when we get closer to the Royal Rumble, Asuka's going to win the championship, and Charlotte is going to win the Royal Rumble. Because that's the only way you're going to get to that dream match that WWE has planned now with Charlotte and Ronda. Asuka won the Royal Rumble as a Raw superstar and challenged a SmackDown champion. Charlotte's going to win the Royal Rumble as a SmackDown competitor and challenge the Raw champion. Ronda's going to be Raw Women's Champion going into WrestleMania. Charlotte's going to win the Royal Rumble. There's your dream match. And WWE kept them away and will only put them face to face in the opportune time of WrestleMania season. So people are wondering, why didn't Charlotte move to Monday Night Raw? There you go. Big Cass. Listen. Everybody's high on Big Cass because he's 7 foot tall. And he's got a great look. But Big Cass does nothing for this guy. He is as boring could come. Or could be. He is as boring could be. Now, the one thing that I picked up on, two things that I picked up on, was that Big Cass kind of presented himself to Daniel Bryan before the main event. He attacked Daniel Bryan in the main event. Now, if WWE's vision of Big Cass is being a monster heel, then you did the right thing, clearly, by having him attack the most popular guy in the company. But he attacked the most popular guy in the company who is also feuding with The Miz. You know, The Miz doesn't have the Miztourage anymore. He's going to need a bodyguard. He's going to need backup. What better backup than Big Cass? If Big Cass is going to be on his own, fighting guys like Bryan and Styles, I'm not for that. He's not in that position. He's not ready for that position. Not interested in him in that way at all. But if Big Cass is going to be a background player for the time being until he gets where he needs to be for The Miz, that's the kind of heel heat you can really feed off of. So you got to keep it going. Attacking Daniel Bryan is one thing. Aligning Big Cass with The Miz, that's going to maintain his heat. And I like that idea a lot better than Big Cass being on his own. Right now, anyway. So we'll see what WWE does with that. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson away from Finn Balor. They have this Balor Club t-shirt and this Balor Club shit going on. Split the Balor Club up. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson have been absolutely fucking lost in a maze of torment on WWE television. Can we finally get these guys to be a dominating tag team? Is it too late? I think so. I think the majority of the fans think these guys are a joke. But I hope I am wrong. Because Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson could be a great heel team. And I hope they give these two guys the time to put in the work to get where they need to be. Sheamus and Cesaro. They did everything and beat everybody on Monday Night Raw. This was a move that was desperately needed for both Sheamus and Cesaro. R-Truth. I don't know what the fuck he's going to be doing. He may be the Titus Catering Entertainment for Smackdown Live. I don't know what the fuck what kind of move is this? How is this any type of move? You know? I mentioned The Miz. He's on SmackDown Live. Great move. Get him away from everybody on Monday Night Raw. Bryan is on SmackDown. You put The Miz on the same show as Daniel Bryan. Andrade Cien Almas. This, to me, I told my best friend Pete, this is the best move from either brand. This is a game-changing move. And the one thing about Almas is, the guy is a 5-star fucking match machine. You put him in there with a Bryan and a Styles, and you just fucking sit back and watch two magicians go to work, man. Fucking awesome. He was at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to WWE television. This guy was trash. Guy came out looking like a fucking stripper, getting ready for a bachelorette party. All of a sudden, they pair him with Zelina Vega, and this guy has fucking transformed into one of the best things on television. If you are not watching NXT, if you are not a regular watcher of NXT, and you do not know who Andrade Cien Almas is, wait till you see. I guarantee you he will be one of your favorite things about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. I promise you. That's the best move of the entire shakeup. So what did we learn here? Both brands made appropriate changes. But the changes that need to be made are ones that we don't see. Behind the scenes. Creative needs to change. And fast. WWE has the opportunity to present two great shows. If we are going to shake things up and things are going to remain the same, and I'm going to come on here every Monday and Tuesday night and still complain about the same shit and the lack thereof, then it's not really a shakeup. I don't want to see rinse and repeat. You have the opportunity for something special this summer, where WWE just sinks to the bottom of the ocean after WrestleMania and doesn't pick it back up until next WrestleMania season. It's like from April till January, they are on cruise control. No creativity, no thought, thinking about what they're doing for WrestleMania next year. Let's think about what we're doing now. We're in this time, we're in this month, let's worry about getting from April to May, May to June, and so on and so forth. Don't just throw it away and abandon it because it's not WrestleMania season. Look at this fucking talent you got. Any promotion would kill for what SmackDown Live has right now. And they have a fucking just unbelievable plethora of talent. Don't let us down. I don't want to be on here complaining about the same shit every single week with new faces. Because then you know it's not what we see on television. It's the people who are booking the television. NXT. NXT picked up as we head into NXT TakeOver Chicago. Johnny Gargano challenged Aleister Black for the NXT Championship. He thinks he's done away with the evil one, Tommaso Ciampa. I mentioned this on NXT Review. I do not like the fact that Johnny Gargano is getting an NXT Championship match now. And the only reason why I'm thinking that they're having Gargano come out and ask for one is because he thinks he put away Tommaso Ciampa. He thinks everything is all right. Ciampa's gone. His wife took care of Zelina Vega. Almas is not going to be there anymore, even though he's still 0-4 against Almas. Johnny Gargano thinks all is right in the world, and now he can finally do what he wanted to do. Achieve his goals of being NXT champion. So Aleister Black said, you want it? You shall have it next week. I think this is being orchestrated because Tommaso Ciampa is going to come up with his most vile plan yet. Couldn't get rid of Johnny. Couldn't exile him from NXT. So what is Tommaso Ciampa going to do? Going to go right to Johnny and hit him where it hurts. And I pitched the idea, and I don't know if this is going to happen in WWE because I'm pretty sure they're not advocates for it, but being that it's in her background and she is not prone to taking a beating from someone of the opposite sex, Tommaso Ciampa lays waste to Candice LeRae. Candice is out for a couple of weeks, whatever. Get this feud to the next plateau. You know? Take Johnny completely out of his world championships and championship aspiration. Get Aleister Black, who's one of the biggest baby faces in NXT. Tommaso Ciampa, who's one of the biggest heels in NXT. How would it look if Tommaso Ciampa won the NXT championship from Aleister Black and he took Johnny Gargano's title, his dreams, and his wife? And then Johnny Gargano comes back, gets his wife back, and beats Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, number 4, for the title. Gargano, Ciampa, title match. NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. What a better fucking situation. Can there be a better situation than that? Man, I hope that happens. Some of you saying that this feud doesn't need the title. Yeah, it didn't need the title at New Orleans, but now we're going into SummerSlam. Now we're going into Brooklyn. It certainly could benefit from the NXT Championship. Aleister Black, I've always stated, doesn't need the NXT Championship. He doesn't. He's so over as it is, he doesn't need the championship to legitimize himself. That's where I hope they go with Johnny Gargano. Ricochet made his debut. Told you guys, man, Ricochet is going to be one to look out for. He actually got endorsed by The Rock this past week. You can't get any bigger than that. Rock says he loves the work Ricochet is doing. Because Ricochet does a version of his own people's elbow. And The Rock caught wind of that. And The Rock called him a future world champion and a future in this business. If I'm Ricochet waking up to that, man, I'm fucking smiling from ear to ear, man. He's going to be one to look out for. He's got that AJ Styles feel to him. He only needs to work on his promos, man, because everything else is there. If he can work on his promo ability, my God, we have a fucking legit king in WWE. I can't wait to see what they do with Ricochet, man. Undisputed Era continues to be great. Next week, we're going to get the explanation from Roderick Strong as to why he turned his back on Pete Dunne. Very interesting situation going on there. Not much else. Shayna Baszler, NXT Women's Champion. Looks like she's setting up a feud with Dakota Kai. There was a little situation with Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler on NXT television where Dakota Kai walked out on Shayna Baszler walking in on a meeting in the locker room. She couldn't take it anymore. So I'm loving what Shayna Baszler is doing. I love that she carries herself the way that she does. Just got to get better in the ring, man. You know, as soon as that comes to be, got a winner on your hands right there. Really liking what Shayna Baszler is doing right now in NXT. Other than that, man, that is your week in review in WWE. It was nothing but the shakeup. And NXT was great as always as we're building towards NXT TakeOver Chicago Money in the Bank weekend. But that is your week in review in WWE. We got news stories, man. I got a news story on Roman Reigns as always because there's not an off the script without a news story on Roman Reigns. I got news on Big Cass. I got news on The Undertaker. And I got news on WWE already canceling Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for 2018. Why? I'll tell you why. This is episode 218, part number 1 of Off the Script. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Sunny! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man?
And this is the #1 fucking podcast
Right here on YouTube.com!
This is Off the Script. The Off the Script Intro Invitational has reached its second round. Obviously, you guys seen there, Josh M. His opponent will be at the end of the video, man. So make sure you guys vote for who you want to see in the finals of the JD Off the Script Invitational Intro Contest. It's going to be great, man, and we will have a winner crowned on Sunday for part 3, if there is a Sunday, because I got no news. It's been a relatively slow news week, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know why, being that we're heading into the greatest Roman Rumble. Not really much news, but I do have some for you guys today. We'll get into it in just a little bit. I do want to talk about this, man. This is going to be my first time talking about this on Off the Script. If you guys are going to be in the Pittsburgh area, Extreme Rules is coming to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on July 15th. Now, I have been great friends with Wrestle Rumble for quite some time now, and Brian Ghoulish, who used to work with Justin LaBar and Josh Eisenberg on Chair Shot Reality, he is a very, very good supporter of the show as well, and we are all coming together to give you guys something pretty fun and exciting during Extreme Rules weekend, man. Look at this. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I will be coming into your city on Extreme Rules weekend, man. there's going to be, on Saturday and Sunday night, 2 separate events. Off the Script and Wrestle Rumble will join forces for a meetup event the night before Extreme Rules at Las Vegas Mexican Restaurant in Market Square in downtown Pittsburgh. So 2 lucky people who listen to this show, 2 lucky people who have participated in WrestleRumble.com and their pick'em contests will be chosen at random to sit with me and the Wrestle Rumble crew for drinks and dinner at Las Vegas Mexican Restaurant, man. Plus more drinks to be had afterwards, of course, because 1 Guinness is not enough for me during the evening, bro. I need to have at least 4 or 5. But regardless of how many Guinnesses I drink, this is going to be a great, great time, man. And then on Sunday is the main event. Live off the Script with JD, a pre-party, and we're going to be taking place at Terrace on 5th, July 15th, the largest outdoor lounge and penthouse bar in Pittsburgh, located at the top of Buford's Kitchen. And this is directly across from the PPG Paints Arena. This will be free to attend. I will be doing an off-the-script special, going over previewing predictions for the Extreme Rules card, whatever it may be, come July. And we're going to be drinking. There's going to be drink and food specials on both nights. We're going to be there the majority of the afternoon up until about 7:30 before we have to head into the PPG Paints Arena for Extreme Rules. But it's going to be great, man. I'm coming into Pittsburgh this July. Going to be great. If you are in the Pittsburgh area, if you are a local, if you are coming from out of town, from Philadelphia, anywhere in the Pennsylvania area, and you want to see Off the Script live, if you're a fan of the show and you want to hang out, meet and greet, you want to call me a goon in person, whatever, man. Come out. It's going to be great, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is my first really big deal as far as meet and greets go. I mean, you know, last couple of years I've been paired with Justin LaBar, and I was there with Solomonster at 205th in Brooklyn. So I had, you know, LaBar's guys there, and I had his fans there, and I had Solomonster's fans there. And, you know, obviously you guys, you know who you are, listen to the show, came out and seen me for SummerSlam weekend. But, you know, it was not just me alone. I was there with LaBar as his guest. And this is me on my own, man. This is going to be me, you know, being sponsored by the fine people and my friends over at Wrestle Rumble. It's going to be a big deal. And I appreciate you guys come out and support. And it's going to be great. And then when you know, SummerSlam comes, I'm going to try and conduct my own meet and greet at my own bar. Just very chill, no live podcast or anything. Just come drink with me, random spot in the city, wherever I choose. And it's going to be great SummerSlam weekend. And then again, for WrestleMania 35 next year, man. It's going to be a big, big deal. So if you guys are in the Pittsburgh area, I would greatly appreciate you guys come out and support, man. Going to be a really good time. And I'm hearing that Penthouse Bar is the nicest bar in the city. So I can't wait to see what's going on there. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, at JDFROMNY206, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Please make sure the notification bell is turned on. I heard through a lot of YouTubers that YouTube is suppressing several videos, and not everybody is getting all the content that you want. So make sure the bell is turned on. I don't know if there's new algorithms on YouTube or not, but whatever the case may be, turn on the bell and make sure you guys have all uploads highlighted when you turn the bell on. If you guys want to support Harry's, man, harrys.com/script for your free trial shave set. As you guys can see, I am clean shaven today, courtesy of Mr. Harry's, man. So please make sure you guys go and get your free trial shave set. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling. harrys.com/script. Razor blade, razor handle, razor blade protective case, and the foaming shave gel, which a lot of you guys have said smells absolutely fantastic, man. If you guys have already signed up, tell your father, tell your girlfriend's father. Ladies, you are not immune to this as well. Harry's works on all genders. It doesn't matter. So tell a classmate, tell your coworkers at work, tell Mohammed at the deli, whomever, man. Shave that beard, motherfucker. It works on everybody, and it's the best shave that you will ever have. You're going to throw away whatever you're using now for Harry's. harrys.com/script. Also, the fine people and my friends over at Audible still sponsoring the show through 2018. audibletrial.com/offthescript. 30 days free to try their service out with one free audio book of your choice. And if you guys want to cancel within the 30 days, you get to keep the audiobook for free. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Again, if you already signed up, tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell a classmate that JD and Off the Script are giving you 30 days of Audible service and a free audiobook just for signing up. If you guys want your t-shirts, man, they do it for Roman. Available now on Barbershop Window. And the rest of the collection is there as well. Eat, Sleep, Bench, Repeat. They do it for Roman, Failure, Raha, JD is Negan, the Off the Script gray logo t-shirt. Get off my TV. It's all there, man. Barbershopwindow.com/off the script. And I'm still waiting for this to get approved, man. Coming soon to Barbershop Window. The true face is finally back. Daniel Bryan on Off the Script's online store with Barbershop Window, man. So thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for buying t-shirts. Thank you for supporting my sponsors. And I hope to see all of you in Pittsburgh. We're going to be talking about it a lot, man. We're going to gain some traction with that. I want to get people invested in that, man. It's going to be a big, big deal in Pittsburgh. Let's get on with the news, man. I want to go over this story first here because this is the biggest story of the day here on Off the Script. Now, with the shakeup, to me, just based on paper, WWE's top of the card on Monday Night Raw doesn't look that impressive. You got your Reigns, you got your Rollins, you got your Balor. Ambrose is there on the DL. Elias, Strowman, Bobby Roode, Bobby Lashley, right? A lot of baby faces there. Someone needs to turn heel. But that's a side note. Still, their biggest name is Brock Lesnar. And wherever Lesnar is, interest follows. I think with Monday Night Raw being on paper, at least, I'm going to mention that a lot, on paper, because we don't know what WWE is going to do with the shakeup creatively yet. Got to give it a couple of weeks. On paper, Lesnar is still their biggest name. And he is going to generate the most interest out of everybody on that show. I think Lesnar is going to be sticking around. No matter what the rumors say that, he's either signed through the greatest Roman Rumble just to drop the title, or if he signed through SummerSlam to get Bobby Lashley over, or if he signed a new multi-year deal where Vince McMahon is allowing him to wrestle or fight in the UFC. But with this news, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's going on. That was my first thought. After hearing this, Lesnar may be done. And that may be a positive thing to some. Bobby Lashley has officially returned to the WWE, and fans are waiting for the expected feud between Lesnar and Lashley. Lesnar currently reigns as the Universal Champion, at least for the next couple of weeks, or next week at least, because that is next week, the greatest Roman Rumble, and pulled off a shocking match and retained his title against Reigns at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. It was expected that Reigns would come out on top and would be the new face of the company. Lesnar was then expected to enter a feud with Bobby Lashley. Lashley made his re-debut on Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania by attacking Elias. A feud between Lesnar and Lashley would be a very interesting dynamic. Fans of combat sports initially wanted to see the two behemoths clash inside the cage in the world of mixed martial arts, as they have very similar styles. Unfortunately, Lesnar fought for the UFC while Lashley was competing in their rival promotion, Bellator MMA. Fans have also expressed interest in a feud between Lashley and Lesnar in wrestling. Again, both men found themselves signed to different promotions as Lesnar resided in WWE while Lashley was a member of Impact Wrestling. Now, both men are finally in the WWE and can make the clash possible, but a recent report suggests that this is not going to happen. Contrary to original reports from several different outlets, Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer reports that the WWE currently has no plans to book a feud between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Meltzer speculated that if Lashley is going to be on Monday Night Raw, they may do something else with him. But he also speculated that if Lesnar is indeed leaving WWE soon, then the WWE has only 2 losses they can get out of him. And Bobby Lashley is not going to be one of them. It's going to be Roman Reigns, and the other one is going to be Braun Strowman. So, if Lesnar was to put someone over before he left the company, doing it to a 40-year-old Bobby Lashley would benefit nobody. Bobby Lashley doesn't need it. Lesnar, I don't think, wants to lay down for Bobby Lashley. And Lesnar's, aura is better off being used on somebody else that has a long-term future with the company, a.k.a. Braun Strowman. Now, WWE, you never know with this company. You never know what they want to do. And that is definitely a statement coming out of WrestleMania. You never know what these people want to do. Like, Roman could be pushed down your throat, and then all of a sudden, WWE can just, all of a sudden, change it like that. For whatever reason. And we know why they changed WrestleMania's outcome for Friday. We know. And I told you why. And it should be very well apparent as to what they're doing. But even then, people are now speculating that WWE doesn't know what they want to do with Roman Reigns. The fans are speculating that, Lesnar could walk out of Saudi Arabia, the Universal Champion, and that WWE could lose faith in Roman Reigns. Is WWE losing faith in Roman Reigns? There's been so much confusion since WrestleMania 34 that WWE finds great enjoyment swerving fans and making fans look stupid. That's exactly what they did at WrestleMania. Not only did they make the fans look stupid, but they sabotaged the WrestleMania main event for Roman in hopes of him winning the title in front of a more positive audience. The expectation for the majority of WWE fans was that Lesnar would drop the title to Roman Reigns, allowing him to go back to UFC and leave Reigns as the one guy to finally end Lesnar's terrifying reign as Universal Champion. I wouldn't call it terrifying. I would call it more of a sabotaging of the Universal Championship. Instead, Lesnar's 6th F5 of the night was enough to put Reigns away inside the Superdome before the company announced the following night that he had signed a new deal. But the duration of the new deal has not been revealed. And the WWE did not reveal the duration of the deal because they want to leave it open to swerve you. They don't want you to know how long Lesnar's deal is because then that would be a clear indication of the outcome of this match in Saudi Arabia. So they are leaving the door open to swerve you. Now, I don't think they're going to swerve you. I think they're going to go ahead with this plan and fully bring what I said last week to light. They did it for Roman. They're going to take him off American soil and put him in a country where he's more than well received. What happens when he comes back to America? WWE has an ample opportunity to turn him heel. That's what they have, but they won't do it. Now, Lesnar's next defense is on the 27th at the Greatest Roman Rumble in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. This time he's going to meet Reigns inside of a steel cage. And now the Wrestling Observer newsletter has brought to light some new details about what the Universal Championship picture could look like. They've claimed that the general feeling within WWE is that Reigns winning the championship is imminent and is likely to occur in Saudi Arabia in front of what many expect to be a more positive crowd than your traditional U.S. audience, along with the fact that it's doubtful Vince McMahon would book Reigns to lose inside of a steel cage match. Also, the perception of Roman not pinning Lesnar, keeping Lesnar looking strong. So Lesnar doesn't have to lay on his back for Roman to win. He could simply exit the steel cage. So the feeling is that Vince has not given up on Reigns yet, but simply postponed the ultimate coronation many thought would take place at WrestleMania. However, a source has claimed that there still is an outside chance that they could book another major swerve and put the title on someone else. If speculation is to be believed, then Vince could abandon a Reigns title win altogether for now and go with someone like Braun Strowman instead. The guy who we've been wanting the entire year. This is down to Strowman being significantly more popular than Reigns in the WWE right now, which he is. So they could look to capitalize on that as he's a believable star that could defeat Lesnar despite failing at No Mercy. They added that the downside to a potential Strowman championship win is that he's not as versatile in the ring compared to someone like Reigns, meaning he needs to be protected a lot more in his matches and booking in general, which is definitely a case because as you guys see, Strowman really doesn't wrestle week to week. He's always there doing something, lingering around, doing an interview or destroying something. He is still very green in the ring. Most of his matches come with a gimmick stipulation behind it because WWE has done everything in their power to protect him because they know he's not there yet. Now, that's not something WWE fans will hate, but it could be much more difficult to put Reigns back in the picture naturally later on than forcing it yet again. So WWE, it looks like they don't know what they want to do here. I don't give a fuck about Bobby Lashley. I don't. And I don't give a shit how many people, criticize me for it. I don't. I'm not interested in a Lesnar versus Lashley match. I'm not interested in seeing Lesnar put over Lashley, especially for a title. I don't want to see it. Could it be an attraction match for SummerSlam? Absolutely. It's absolutely an attraction match. It's just something that I'm interested in. I'll be interested in it because of the legitimacy of both men and the physical atmosphere that we will get inside the Barclays Center. But am I interested in both men at this point? No, I couldn't give a single fuck about both men. I'm over Lesnar as champion. I'm over Lesnar, period, because, it's the same old shit with him. Bobby Lashley, wasn't a fan then, wasn't a fan ever. Not going to be a fan now. And I don't give a shit how much better he's gotten. I don't care how great he looks. I don't care. I didn't get that feeling when I watched him on Monday Night Raw. He looked impressive. I'll give him that. But when you watch somebody, you get a feeling when you watch a certain someone like, yeah, this guy is great. I want to see more of him. I don't get that feeling with Bobby Lashley, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. It's going to come down to him falling into the Batista type level. Go away. Batista came back as a babyface when he wanted to be a heel. WWE pushed him as a babyface in the midst of this yes movement, and people revolted against it. Now you're putting Bobby Lashley against someone who is as over as Elias. People want to see Elias thrive. People want to see Elias succeed. You're going to put Bobby Lashley and have him come out of nowhere, right, and force him down everybody's throats and have Elias put him over? A, the feud doesn't even make sense. B, why would anybody want to see Elias lay down for Bobby Lashley? What is that going to do for Elias? What is it going to do for Bobby Lashley? Bobby Lashley should be feuding with a Braun Strowman, and he should be putting guys like Braun Strowman over. Not going to put Elias, on the mat for Bobby Lashley. What positive does that do for anybody? So if this Lashley-Lesnar match is canceled, then I'm all for it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Does Bobby Lashley, does he add more to Monday Night Raw? Yes. But is it something that's going to make me want to watch Monday Night Raw? Is Bobby Lashley going to make Monday Night Raw a better show? No. Absolutely not. Do I think WWE loses faith in Roman Reigns this time around? No. I don't. I think Roman Reigns is winning the title. I think Lesnar is not going to be pinned. I think WWE, for all the sheer intent that they did and the sabotage of WrestleMania 34 that they did, they have to give Reigns the title. They sabotaged not only the main event, but they sabotaged, putting another match in the main event. They called a complete audible because of simple fan reaction that they knew was going to happen before WrestleMania. They knew of this years in advance. And they're sabotaging the main event of WrestleMania 34 for Saudi Arabia. Because Roman is going to be away from the volatile U.S. audience and be put in front of an audience who doesn't know any better. Who's there for the sheer atmosphere of the event. Come on. Absolutely ridiculous, man. The main event scene on Monday Night Raw looks absolutely fucking awful. And I don't even think a Braun Strowman would be able to save it. I don't know how likely that would be, to be a great thing on Monday Night Raw. I don't care. None of this shit I care about. Gonna watch the greatest Royal Rumble? Gonna shrug my shoulders? Roman's the champion? Fine. But what do you truly expect to have happen when he comes back to the United States? You think he's gonna get cheered? You think he's gonna go into another country and win the title from the Beast? come back to America and somehow be beloved? Give me a fucking break, man. Absolutely not. So I don't care about anything that we just went over there. Nothing. As far as I'm concerned, Bobby Lashley's fucking unimportant to me. Lesnar, goodbye. Go back to the UFC. I'm more of a Lesnar fan in UFC than I am in WWE at this point. Plans for Big Cass on Smackdown Live is another thing that I'm not really all that excited about. Through the superstar shakeup, several superstars have been moved from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown Live, and one was inserted right into the main event scene on the blue brand. AJ Styles teamed up with Daniel Bryan for the main event of SmackDown Live this week against Rusev Day. But their match was interrupted by Shinsuke Nakamura and Big Cass, who attacked Styles and Bryan respectively. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, this is a sign of what's to come for Cass on SmackDown. Meltzer has stated that Cass's move from Raw to SmackDown will also coincide with a big push for him. Much like WWE planned last year before he suffered a torn ACL and was sidelined for 8 months. The Wrestling Observer Radio host also noted that WWE is planning on programs with both Styles and Bryan in alliance with either Miz, Nakamura, or Miz and Cass. Now, it looks like Cass's first program on SmackDown Live could be against Daniel Bryan, which I'm not interested in at all. So it certainly would make sense for him to team up with The Miz and essentially act as an enforcer for The Miz before eventually turning on him and walking his own path. Like I said, you already got the heel heat going by attacking the number one face in the company. You want to keep that heel heat going. Align him with The Miz, who is a heat magnet, especially against Daniel Bryan. That would be the greatest thing for Big Cass at this point. Styles and Bryan versus Miz and Cass. I could see that. Nakamura being in the background, kind of getting on the Styles' nerves, kind of making him an emotional mess, possibly taking the championship away from him at the Greatest Royal Rumble. However, for the time being, it looks like he will be aligning with Nakamura, which could open the door for him to have a WWE Championship match against Styles as well, since the King of Strong Style, or now the King of Blue Balls, is feuding against the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Bryan and Miz are expected to feud down the line at some point, but before the eventual meeting in the ring, this would be a good filler feud to not only elevate the hype for Bryan Miz, but also elevate the status of Big Cass by aligning himself and feeding off the Miz. Big Cass on his own, man, he is very green in the ring. I don't see what anybody sees in him. I don't. There's nothing about Big Cass that, again, like Lashley, there's nothing about Big Cass that makes me feel a certain way. I don't get excited to see Big Cass. It's just one of those fucking blank stares when you look at Big Cass. It's nothing. He's big, he's tall. That's it. There's nothing else to him. He's got a decent look. Shitty fucking theme and entrance. You're going to put him in the main event? Now, I knew he was going to SmackDown Live because it only makes sense to put him on his own brand where he can dominate as a guy that size away from a Braun Strowman. That was clearly obvious. But putting him right in the main event, I mean, Bryan and Styles versus Cass is not something that I'm interested in at all. Now, putting him with The Miz, that could be something. You could feed off him. You could have him cut his own promos with The Miz being there. The Miz could even probably teach him a thing or two on the microphone. I like that pairing a lot. And The Miz, the way his character is, I appreciated the fact that he came out at WrestleMania and went at it alone without the Miztourage. But The Miz's character calls for someone who needs help. Axel and Dallas aren't there. The Miz and Big Cass, that would be a perfect enforcer for The Miz during this entire Daniel Bryan situation. And he could even come out, or Big Cass can come out and even say that, listen, I was paid by The Miz. The Miz wasn't there, Daniel Bryan tweeted on social media, I can't wait to punch this guy's face in. Miz wasn't there. He was spending family time in Los Angeles with his wife and his baby. Big Cass took a nice early paycheck from The Miz to do the dirty deed on SmackDown Live. Easily worked around. I like it. I think that's the one thing that makes sense, and hopefully WWE goes with that for Big Cass on SmackDown Live. We have news on Jinder Mahal. And I don't know how much time I'm going to have because I honestly have no stories. I got 2 more stories and then I got to save the rest for tomorrow. So if you guys are complaining about a short episode, I don't know what to fucking tell you, man. Blame WWE for being boring this week. Jinder Mahal. Is he main event? Not in my eyes. In your eyes, no. He's a failure. But when did Jinder Mahal find out he would be a main event talent? Now, this is something that nobody saw coming. He re-signed with the company in 2016. He looked normal before he looked like fucking a science experiment. And Mahal's rise began when he was the runner-up of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in 2017 at WrestleMania, losing out to Mojo Rawley. Some good that did for Mojo, right? He was then put into a six-pack challenge to determine the number one contender for the WWE Championship. And you know what? Mahal cut a promo at the end of that match because he beat Sami Zayn. And I'm like, wow, this is good. This is good. He got good heel heat. Crowd was on. I don't remember what city they were in. You know, Sami Zayn was a beloved babyface. He got over on someone that the fans genuinely want to see succeed in Sami Zayn. He won that six-pack challenge, and he cut a great promo. You can even go back and watch that Smackdown review. I even praised it. That promo was fucking fantastic. And then what we got after that was like two different fucking worlds. So I don't know what happened after that. Mahal defeated Rawley, Ziggler, Rowan, Harper, and Zayn to earn his championship match. At Backlash, he defeated Randy Orton to win the WWE Championship in a swerve. Nobody expected it. WWE did it. He went on to defend his title cheaply, yet successfully, several times against Orton in the following months, which was the decline of SmackDown Live. Mahal's sudden thrust into the main event scene was very sudden and a bit of a shock to WWE fans. The push certainly came as a surprise to Jinder, who tells WWE ring announcer Lillian Garcia on her podcast, Chasing Glory, that he initially expected he would simply be getting a run at the United States title. So Jinder had it in his mind that he was going to get a run at the United States Championship, which could have completely altered his character. If they did it this way from the beginning, maybe we wouldn't be so hard on Jinder Mahal. That was the right time. Jinder at that point was not ready for the WWE Championship. You put the U.S. title on him, even though it's been done time and time again. The foreigner, the evil foreigner, taking hold of the United States Championship, having someone like Sami Zayn chase it, or someone in a babyface role chase it. At that point, it probably would have been John Cena. Someone. Anybody. Rusev. Could have Rusev do it? You know? But WWE just completely altered plans, gave him the WWE Championship, and in that instance, killed the title, killed all credibility for the title, and killed SmackDown Live in the process. So, I don't know how they thought that was a good thing. I quote, WrestleMania week, I saw Road Dogg in the hotel. He said, Jinder, after WrestleMania, good things are going to happen to you. I think the plan was that they were going to elevate me a bit, he says. WrestleMania was the beginning for Jinder Mahal. He's like, I thought, cool, I can actually be in a storyline, be in the U.S. Championship, the IC Championship, so I get drafted to SmackDown, which is a good sign. All along, I wanted to be drafted to SmackDown. Right when I got signed, I would see Road Dogg in the hallways and tell him, please don't draft me to SmackDown, because I saw people on SmackDown getting opportunities. I love Raw. Raw has a stigma about it. Raw has, a chip. I love Raw, he says. Raw has a stigma about it, but us on the blue team, we have a chip on our shoulder. But they say SmackDown is the land of opportunity, which it really is, Mahal said. I was at a live event on a Monday night, and they announced the six-pack challenge match for the number one contendership. I also see tweets wondering how Jinder Mahal is the number one contender, or a number one contender in that match, and hasn't won a match in a long time. I think Baron Corbin or Luke Harper was going to go fight Randy Orton. I remember getting my wrists taped, and I asked who was going to face Randy Orton. I think Luke Harper was there. He said to me, it's you. And Mahal said he was taken aback. What? I'm going to work with Randy Orton for the WWE Championship? 5 minutes later, I saw Randy and told him we were going to be working together. So I had to grow a lot very quickly, because to be a main event WWE superstar is an entirely different ballgame. I always see people wishing they could be in the main event. If you were given that opportunity, would you sink or swim? I had no choice but to swim. I was fortunate enough to have a great relationship with Randy Orton. I believe Randy Orton is one of the greatest of all time. He is so smooth and so flawless. End quote. He had a lot of learning to do, which apparently went in one ear and out the other. Or went right over his head, because he hasn't learned the goddamn fucking thing. Especially in the ring. You know, he might be a decent promo, or he might get some decent heat from time to time, but the guy isn't anywhere near a main event level. I'm telling you right now. WWE really did things ass backwards with Jinder Mahal. And I don't think I've said it time and time again, I'm gonna continue to say it throughout the year. I don't think Jinder's gonna do anything on Monday Night Raw. That does not present anything of interest whatsoever. At all. Main event talent? Hardly. Mid-card? That's where he belongs. He's a lifer in the mid-card as long as I see him. Finally, guys, we are going to end with this. Baron Corbin on Monday Night Raw. I wish this show was a little bit better today. Honestly, I have no news. No news. Hopefully I have more for tomorrow, but listen. When WWE is boring and when WWE has their down months, don't blame the messenger, man. Why Baron Corbin was moved to Monday Night Raw. WWE decided to move some big names in the shakeup, with SmackDown Live arguably getting the better end of the deal with the likes of The Bar, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, Almas, etc. Fans have breathed a sigh of relief as WWE opted not to have some of the most coveted stars from the blue brand make the switch, such as AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, even Shinsuke Nakamura, which makes sense because Nakamura is feuding with AJ Styles. However, one star did end up switching brands on the first night, and that was Baron Corbin. Last week, it was revealed that Vince McMahon was a big fan of Baron Corbin and planned to give him a main event push. When that was revealed, it did come as a slight surprise to see him switch brands on paper, and getting a main event push on SmackDown with a more competitive WWE Championship picture is a lot more plausible than the current Universal Championship situation, which is being held up right now by Brock Lesnar. Despite that, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter has claimed that the reason WWE put Corbin on Monday Night Raw is so that the company can actually push him as a main event guy instead of fellow new rival Drew McIntyre. According to Bodyslam.net, Meltzer said Corbin is there for a big push. At least, that's the theory. So what's the deal? It's one thing I cannot figure out. Drew McIntyre's younger than Corbin. Vince loves Baron Corbin. He did love McIntyre originally, and then he soured on him years and years ago. I wonder why! When you make him a fucking comedy act, who's going to be high on Drew McIntyre? And then there's Vince McMahon, Mr. Know-It-All, who lives in his own fucking bubble, sees McIntyre come from the independents and do his fucking thing. Then Triple H picks him up. Does Vince even watch NXT? How can you look at Drew McIntyre and look at Baron Corbin and be like, yep, I'm going with Baron Corbin? What? Has Vince even seen what Drew McIntyre can do in a ring? Over a Baron Corbin? Even looks-wise, Vince is a guy who's all about looks. How can you look at Drew McIntyre over Baron Corbin and not choose him? Now, I don't know if Meltzer is fucking smoking a little something, or I don't know if he's fucking completely blitzed out of his mind, but I hope to fucking God this is not true. Knowing Meltzer, this is another fabricated fucking fairy tale. Are you fucking kidding me? Now listen, I'm a Baron Corbin fan. I want to see Baron Corbin succeed. The more, the merrier in the main event scene. But I just don't know, man. I'm absolutely fucking speechless on that one. I mean, a blind man could fucking see who's the right choice there. Now, the only thing that worries me is the fact that WWE Raw has already paired McIntyre with Mr. Midcard, Dolph Ziggler. So based on that, this may be true. Baron Corbin may come out next week and be thrusted into the main event. We don't fucking know. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre is there with Midcard for life. The lifer, Dolph Ziggler. But if Vince McMahon's way of thinking is really that, and he soured on Drew McIntyre, clearly the guy is fucking oblivious. Or maybe he just didn't see Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw. Maybe he didn't care. Who's this guy? Who's this guy with the big beard and the big muscles, 6'8"? Vince, that's Drew McIntyre. Remember he was in 3MB with Jinder Mahal? What? Really? Get him over here. Let me feel his muscles. You know? Come on, dude. Now, I don't understand that, but McIntyre, clearly the choice over Corbin. Now, Meltzer went on to state, and I'm glad he has a fucking brain, but it's like when you put McIntyre and Corbin together, it's like one just comes off as boring, and the other is a big main event singles guy. You know, but they're high on Corbin. Corbin being moved over is to be a top guy, and I didn't sense putting McIntyre with Dolph is going to get, you know, top guy billing. Exactly what I stated. Now, we've heard about WWE's push for Corbin before, but on that occasion, they decided he would fail his cash-in attempt to become WWE champion. If he's on Raw to become a top guy, then the assumption will be that it will be much easier to slot him in the championship picture once Brock Lesnar's out of the equation and clears the path for others to finally compete for the Universal Championship. Before then, though, it could be likely that Corbin finally gets some big-name feuds under his belt, then flying under the radar yet again. McIntyre's the choice there, dude. Corbin, he's not ready. Corbin is not even anywhere near ready. He's got the look. He's got everything going for him. He's not ready yet. You know he's not ready yet. You know? He's got to work on that in-ring skill. You know, a Corbin versus Braun Strowman match. Interesting. They've had some small little back and forths inside the Royal Rumble. You know? Corbin versus Reigns. Corbin versus Seth Rollins. All intriguing match. Corbin versus Lashley. All intriguing matchups. You know? And no, I'm not high on Bobby Lashley. But billing-wise, you know? It's intriguing. Seeing Lashley and what he can do against a guy like Corbin. Corbin could be a main event guy, but don't push him because Vince has some fucking hard-on for him. Push the guy who's fucking ready. McIntyre is clearly ready. And if he's going to be a heel, he should be the top of the fucking roster. He should be the number one guy. But Corbin's going to get the push over Drew McIntyre or the likes of Drew McIntyre because Vince McMahon has anointed him to be in that position. I'm going to get out of here, guys. That is everything. That is off the script. I hope to have more news tomorrow. I really do. I got a story here about Davey Boy Smith Jr. being wanted by police for throwing coffee in Jake the Snake Roberts' face. What type of fucking animal are you, Mr. Davey Boy Smith Jr.? So we got news on that. I got news on The Undertaker. WWE hopes to have Undertaker wrestle multiple times in 2018. Why they replaced Jericho with Rusev again at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And Bobby Roode's future on Monday Night Raw. What does WWE have planned for the glorious one? Also, potential feud for Daniel Bryan after the Superstar Shakeup. All this plus so much more on Off the Script Part 2. We're going to leave you guys with the next semi-finalist in the Off the Script Intro Invitational. Man, hit that thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at JD206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell. Make sure you highlight all uploads and all notifications. And I will see you guys right back here on Part 2 for Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.